I'm Arabina Apia, and this is a special social media segment of A Closer Look. I'm joined by Education Minister Glenys Hanna Martin and Agriculture Minister, the Honorable Jomo Campbell. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So we've been having a pretty insightful conversation about the achievements of both of your ministries. And I want to talk to you a little more in detail about some of the things that Bahamians can expect to see in 2024. Minister, can you tell us about any specific infrastructural changes and developments that are coming to education that Bahamians will see roll out in the new year?
Well, there's a lot happening, but one of the things I'm really very interested in what we're doing is we're going back to the drawing board, because I think we've made the observation that over the years, our young people and children, even though some do very well, but there is sort of a mean statistic where it appears as if our children are not maximizing in what our expectations are. So we're doing a number of research projects. We've completed one with the University of the Bahamas. We got a preliminary report. And what that study showed us, what factors influence learning outcomes in the Bahamian child. And this has proven to be a very valuable piece, because it will help us shape policy, design curriculum, and also look at teaching strategies. The other thing that we've engaged in, and it's ongoing, is how we integrate the arts into core subjects. And so we now have two primary schools in New Providence, which are part of the pilot project, where we're looking to see how art integration assists learning with our children and enhances learning or stimulates learning. And from what I'm hearing preliminarily, it's some really excellent results. The other thing that we're about to engage in and launch is a mathematics study to see how our children in the Bahamas learn mathematics. What are the challenges? And it might be the same anywhere else, but we have to have research, we have to have data, so that our policy decisions are based on findings, empirical evidence. And so this year, we can expect policy shifts based on empirical data and research. And there's a lot happening. I mean, I'm sure your show won't be able to accommodate all that I have to say, but this is something I'm very excited about, because it does not accept the perpetuation of what we've seen before.
Absolutely.
But it helps us to redesign and hopefully to really stimulate learning patterns that will yield spectacular results. That's the objective. The other thing I want to say, and I think I just want to put it in quickly because I know the two of us on the show, but technical and vocational training. Because we have come to the understanding that our students are all differently motivated. Agriculture, carpentry, science, whatever it is. No two children are alike, and we're motivated differently. And so we're bringing a very strong column or pillar of technical and vocational education. I did a tour recently of BTVI, and I was amazed. I was shocked. What they've done in the last 12 months there, you will be surprised to see what is available at that institution. So that's another thing, acknowledging differentiation in our young people, and also facilitating those passions and legitimating them, so we don't have this top-heavy thing of the academics. Of course, you have to be literate and numerate and those things, but we're different. And so we want to bring that to the fore, to mainstream, and cause for our young people to feel comfortable in expressing their realities.
Absolutely. Well, Minister Campbell, I know your ministry has undertaken a number of initiatives. We've had the Golden Yoke Initiative. I understand that the feed mill is also at work. So let's talk about those initiatives. How are you rating the success of those initiatives in 2023? What else can Bahamians expect to see from those programs in 2024?
Well, by virtue of the Golden Yoke program, what we are looking to do is to revolutionize the agriculture sector. As you know, eggs play a vital part, eggs and poultry play a vital part in our Bahamian diet. Scrambled, boiled, and very expensive.
Very expensive, Minister.
And so we want to address that. As it stands now, we produce approximately 700,000 eggs. We want to increase that, as far-fetched as it may sound, but realistically we want to increase that to 27 million. And more importantly, we want to have at least 13 million of those eggs being produced on the Family Islands, because we don't want this to be a Nassau-centric initiative. We need all hands on deck The Bahamas is an archipelago, and we have some brilliant farmers in the Family Islands: Eleuthera, Andros, Exoma, Michael, Cat Island, and so we want to get everybody involved to help us tackle this goal of reducing the costs for poultry products. And so as it stands now, we are just fine-tuning some of the legalities of the contracts because we want to make sure that the Bahamian farmers getting the best bang for their buck when this deal is signed and we can roll out smoothly. And once that takes place, we are seeking to have some town hall meetings with the farmers so everyone can be on the same page. We don't want government to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the persons on the ground, of the farmers, of our poultry producers. We're going to make sure we all move through seamlessly. And so you can expect that in the very near future, as early as next year. January, we're expecting to roll that project out in a phase basis. And I also heard you mention the feed mill.
Yeah.
I can tell you now, beyond the shadow of a doubt, we will have our new feed mill in country before the end of the year. I stress the word new because the feed mill, which is now in existence at GRAC, the Gladstone Road Agricultural Center, has been there for some 40 years. We had a situation about 2 weeks ago where it was inoperable, and we had farmers from Cat Island who couldn't get produce, couldn't get feed for their livestock. And you know, it's a strain. It may sound simple to the average person, but when you're involved in agriculture, you have to travel from the Family Islands, and more importantly, you have livestock that is dependent on this food. You know, if you don't feed them, they don't grow, they don't reproduce, and then you have a loss on your hand. And so we want to ensure that, you know, this is one less thing that the farmers have to worry about, have to think about. So we didn't want to put the cart before the horse. We want to make sure that we have a modern, fully functioning feed mill in place, so when once that's set up and we roll it with the Golden Yoke program, smooth as a whistle.
Well, it seems like your ministry is really focused on, you know, really developing the relationship and improving the relationships that you have with local growers, local farmers. What has been the response from those farmers, especially in the Family Islands, in terms of, you know, how they feel about the support that they get, or are they, you know, the support that they're getting? What are some of the concerns that you hear from them?
Well, the feedback has been tremendous, and I can tell you the excitement and the passion was always there. As you know, growing up, we all had something growing in our yard. Whether it was a peach tree, a sour tree, tomatoes, almost every backyard had bird peppers growing. You know, these were things that we're used to. And just naturally, we all have fruit trees growing, sugar apples, dillies, mangoes, guavas. And so these things come naturally to us. And so for us to be able to assist our farmers to develop it for a more profitable, in a more profitable way, you know, it really goes a long way, and it speaks volumes. And the fact that this is a collaboration, this isn't government talking to people, it's government talking with the people, because it's really the people that make the product. We're here as policymakers and advisors, and so the collaboration is really going to be key. And their feedback is what is necessary. They're folks that have been in this for as long as I've been alive. And we have persons in the like of Lady Di, when it comes to the pineapple production, and the wealth of knowledge she has. You know, it'll be a shame if we just let that go away with her. So we want to incorporate that, give all of our farmers the platform to share their knowledge, give the young farmers a chance to share the new technologies with the traditional farmers. And so what we decided to do as well, the ministry hosted the Agrarian Awards. Our Minister for Education was able to, she attended.
Outstanding.
And we recognize them for their efforts. You know, sometimes farming and fishing are looked at as second-hand jobs. But we want to show persons that really and truly these are, you know, top-notch employment opportunities, and we want to recognize our farmers and fishers for the work that they have been doing, because it's so vital to our existence. We are what we eat. We want our athletes to perform well, so we have to make sure they're getting the best meat, the best fruits, the best vegetables. We want our students to be attentive in school, so we want the food and the breakfast program to be healthy, to be hearty, to encourage them to be attentive and to stay focused. And so we want to show just how important agriculture is to every sector of the society. And the only way to do that is to get the buy-in from the people that are actually on the ground, get their feedback, and, you know, we work together.
I love that you're talking about the connectivity of agriculture in various areas as well, because it also feeds the economy. Are there any plans to, or can you speak to plans for export of some of the goods that are being grown? I know that we always talk about our high import bill and how much we bring into the country, but are there opportunities that you could speak to for Bahamians looking to see their products in stores, not just regionally but internationally as well?
Well, that's the goal, because as Bahamians, we always strive high. We strive for 110%. And so the goal is to get the thinking beyond just our local borders. Why can't we have Bahamian grown pineapples on the shelves in Florida or Miami? No one does it better than the Bahamas when it comes to that. Our tomatoes, all of our fruits and vegetables. And if we're successful with this Golden Yoke program, we will definitely exceed the local consumption rate in terms of poultry production. And so the international market is definitely where we want to assist our farmers in getting. And so as policymakers, we have to help to break down some of those barriers. And that was the purpose for having the Caribbean Week of Agriculture here, because we'd want to start in our Caribbean region and then expand to the international market.
Well, I guess my final question to both of you is, what would a successful 2024 look like for you? If we have this conversation at the end of next year, what does a successful year for your ministries look like?
Me? Well, I think that, because, in education we're dealing with a lot of legacy issues, the one thing I want to see is progress.
Yes.
I don't think I'm going to see a miracle. I've been told you're not going to see a miracle. Those who've been in the industry, education industry for a while.
Yeah.
But we'd like to see progress. The things that the Minister Campbell spoke about, I think, it's very important that young people re-envision themselves. Agriculture is, as he said, it's huge for profits and good big business and for decent living.
Yeah.
But it's also critical to our national development, to our survival, to our national security, our food security. So we have to cause for our young people to, to be able to come out of the box and reimagine how they see themselves. And this is what we want to do through the education system. It ties in very closely with what the minister's engaging in. And he has a program in the schools themselves.
Yeah.
But we want our young people, first of all, to have a sense of, and this is what I'm hoping to see in the new year, a sense of understanding of the context in which they exist, this nation, their community, that they see the relationship between what they do or don't do to that community or to that nation, that they are able to feel confident in who they are and what they are. And if it means going into a technical field, go full force. We support you.
Yeah.
If it means becoming a scientist or a poet, go full force. We support you. Yeah. We want our young people in this country to feel confident in themselves and about the future that they have in this nation. I think to a large extent, there's a disconnect between how they see themselves and what they see happening out there in the world, in this country. And so we have to make that connect. It ties into the economy and all the other policy initiatives with other ministers. But the one thing we want is our young people to have a sense of self, a sense of confidence, more so than a BGCSE. That measures something. But we want them to come out tall and strong, articulate, confident, brilliant, critically thinking, and this is what the objective is, to build that stature in our young people. Yeah. They will, and with the basics, literacy, numeracy, all the subjects and everything, we want them to learn those subjects. That helps them to navigate the world. Yeah. But in terms of their character, in terms of their, the essence of who they are, we're concentrating on building that. And also to have a reality about the country itself. We're a low-lying country. We now know hurricanes are something that are quite a phenomenon now. Yeah. We want them to understand the risks that we continue to face. Yeah. It's not easy because a lot of children are coming from very challenging social contexts, and you're not going to just automatically, turn into some miracle, create a miracle. But we're going to work with parents. We've created a parents unit. We want parents to work with the Ministry of Education, work with the school, work with your young people, And then we want corporate Bahamas to do their part, to donate some computers and all of that. We need all hands on deck, all stakeholders. But 2024, I am trusting, is going to be the turnaround. I said this year would be the turnaround. I think we've seen turnaround, but I think that we can see an even bigger turnaround, and I'm looking forward to that. And I think the entire country will benefit if we're able to achieve the objectives that we seek to do.
Absolutely.
Well, as you know, if we can show some growth in the financial aspect of agriculture and fisheries, that will be great. Because having an extra dollar in your pocket really goes a long way for everyone. From a more personal note, I would really appreciate for us to be able to have a more mental awareness that the Bahamas can take care of itself. Bahamians, we can feed ourselves. We can live healthier lifestyles by growing what we eat. I want us to achieve the elimination of the stigma that, you know, only somebody who can't does agriculture, only somebody who can't does fishing. We want to get people to realize the importance of what it means to grow what we eat. If we can achieve that and we can get people to realize just what it means to, as the minister said, take the bull by the horns and show the world that the Bahamas can provide for itself, can secure its own food, and can stand up on the world stage just like any other developed nation, and to show them that what we do in the Bahamas is still, even in 2024, better. As it relates to the agriculture and fisheries sectors, for me, that would be hats off to everyone in my ministry and in the department. And you know, all of our employees are really passionate about this. This is a field where persons give their all. Sometimes farmers and fishers go out to work and it takes weeks, sometimes even months before they see a profit, but they do it because they love it. If we could put that same love into our food and our fisheries, and then we put it into our bodies, then hey, we won.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you both very much for taking the time to speak with us today. It's been a really great conversation. I think Bahamians are going to be very pleased about the initiatives that are coming in 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've been watching a special social media segment of A Closer Look here with Minister of Agriculture, Jomo Campbell, and Education Minister, the Honorable Glenys Hanna Martin. Stay tuned for more content right here on A Closer Look.